Hi guys, it's Pete from MyJewelryBench.com. I broke my Elegoo Mars, but I fixed it. Today we're going to talk about maintenance, supplies that you should keep on hand, and some spare parts I would recommend keeping around. Let's get started. Yes, I broke my Elegoo Mars. It was my fault. So what happens is sometimes you get in a hurry and you don't follow the instructions the way you should, or proper procedures. And some of the proper procedures that you should follow, like when cleaning out your resin vat, making sure that there's no particulates in there that are hard and solidified, you could cause some problems. Let me explain to you what I did. I was in a hurry to make a bunch of prints and rushing through it. And I decided that I was going to leave the resin in the vat and level off the build plate. I level the build plate every time I start a print. So I figured, oh, I can get away with it. I haven't done it before. Usually I clean out the resin, wipe everything down, level the bed plate, fill it up with resin, and start my print. But this time I left the resin in. I decided that it was good enough. I lowered the build plate down to do the leveling procedure, and I heard a little crunch and kind of scared me. I went on to do my print. My print actually printed okay. And what happened was when I took the vat off to clean it again, and I don't know if you can see this, let's see if I can get a close-up shot of this. What happened was my display got a crack in it, and if you look closely you can see in the reflection the crack that happened. You know, it didn't stop it from working. While the printer still worked, I figured, hey, what the heck, I'll just order another LCD display because you're going to need these. It's a part that does wear out or go bad. It's going to have issues. I was also getting what I call stalagmites building off the build plate. So obviously this sits on the frame of the printer, and the build plate comes up and down. And what I noticed was on my build plate, I was getting over on this side little bits of, well, actually like a little stalagmite of resin getting built off of the build plate. And every time I printed, that would happen, which tells me that one of the displays had gone bad. Maybe a couple of little LCDs in there had gone bad, and that could have been caused from the crack. So yeah, it was time to replace it. These are relatively inexpensive. I believe on Amazon they're about $19.99. I will put links to everything that I recommend in the description below, as well as a link to the article where I outline everything that I keep as spare parts and supplies for my printers, so that you can get the same things if you want. But not bad, $20 on Amazon, free shipping, a couple days, and I got it in 2 days, which was great. I actually waited about a week and a half to put it in because I was busy and I didn't, before I dove into replacing it. There are videos of changing out the LCDs on these things, so I'm not going to get into that in my video, but just, take precautions. You do have to take about half the machine apart to change this display. On the back of the display is a ribbon cable, and it's attached. This particular one, which was broken, when I went to disassemble it, I got a little grabby, and when I tried to lift this off, I ripped the cable out. And while it didn't do any damage to the printer, this is a broken part. The ribbon broke off of it. I wasn't too worried. But it did teach me to be careful the next time, and also be careful when reassembling this, because you don't want anything to happen to that ribbon cable. The LCD screens come from Amazon with the new version of the connector on them, as well as an adapter for the old versions of the printer. So no matter which printer you have, you can use their LCD to put back in. It also works with the Anycubic, and yes, I have tested it with the Anycubic, and it does replace that one also. So just keep that in mind. Comes with sticky tape to replace the old sticky tape, keeps it on the frame. Once I replaced it, I did a couple tests, and I'm doing actually a big print now, a duplicate of what I've got cooking in the ultraviolet cure. Pretty simple to do, but I would recommend having one of these on hand And again, I'm of the impression that every time you do a print, you should clean your vat, pour the resin that's in the vat back into whatever jar it came from, filter it before it goes in so you don't get any debris going into your jars of resin, and then clean completely your felt paper, your vat, wipe down the display, make sure you don't put any pressure on it, just to keep everything cleaned and ready to go for the next print. Even if you're going to do continuous prints, if you're not sure if there's any debris in there, you might want to clean it out, just because you don't want to have the same problem. Like I said, it took me about not knowing how to take it apart and do it, and I didn't actually go look at the videos. I have a little bit of engineering behind me, so I just kind of laid it out on my workbench and took it apart, and it comes apart relatively simply. You do have to just take a little care again when you're putting all the cables in. The cables are very fine and thin, so don't yank, pull, tug, rip. Handle them with care. Keep a display on hand. Whatever resin you're using, I have about 12 bottles now. These are the bottles I use the most. I've got my castables and my regular resins. Water, isopropyl alcohol. I keep a couple filters on hand just to make sure that I can throw my resin back in the vats. I use this one as well as a regular hard plastic one. Again, for cleaning, I use invisible glass or any kind of good glass cleaner to clean my felt paper and the display. I also wipe down the printer just to make sure. Just a habit I get into. And of course, you're going to keep isopropyl alcohol. I use tons of paper toweling, and again, I quarter them. I cut them in quarters just because I don't need that much. These filters, what a great deal. I think under $10 they got 100 filters. I'll put a link to those below also and on my website so you can get those there. I keep lots and lots of gloves, not just because I use them for the printer, but because when I'm repairing watches, I don't want to get fingerprints on watches, so I keep those around for watches and jewelry when I'm working on fine stuff that I don't want my Italian little hands getting the Italian little grease all over it. You should have at least one UV cure light. I would recommend 2. I have just the one right now. I'm going to order another one. And what other supplies should you have? Since I haven't had too many problems with I actually haven't had any problems with my printer. 5 months into it now, it's working still fantastic. Again, I keep it clean. One thing I do want to touch on is that the Z-axis screw, the part that makes the bed go up and down, I clean that once a week. Like if I'm printing 10 things a week, I'll clean that once a week and just put a little bit of grease on it just to make sure that it's smooth and works perfect. And I don't want to give you the impression that you're going to get this in the mail from Amazon. It's going to come, you're going to open the box up, you're going to set it all up, throw some resin in there and print your first print. Yes, chances are 80% of the time it's going to work perfectly. With the Elegoo Mars, I'd say probably 85% of the time, but you still want to check all the screws, make sure they're tight. As with the original version of the Anycubic Photon, that a lot of people complain when that shipped to them. A lot of things were loose and they had to go make adjustments. It takes some time, and I still recommend that when you get something shipped from UPS, Amazon Prime, however it ships to you, just double check and make sure. It comes with all the tools for the screws and the Allen nuts. So just go through it, make sure everything's tight. Any other supplies I'll have listed on my website. Again, there's going to be links to this below. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and let me know, and I will be glad to answer as many questions as possible. If you are thinking about getting one of these, listen, this is a great investment. So go ahead and get one. I'm not sure if I'd recommend it for children, at least children that are not supervised. If you're thinking about getting one of these for, let's say, a child under the age of 13, because the resins can be, very caustic to some people. I've seen people get second, third-degree burns from these. I have personally not, but I have seen, people online tell us that they've gotten burned. You might want to consider supervising a child when using this. It's a little more caustic than, say, a regular 3D printer that just melts plastic and builds it up, where you can get burned, but the plastic itself isn't going to, cause any problems. This stuff You just want to make sure no ingesting it, no breathing it. Wear a mask, gloves, keep everything clean. I usually wipe the bottles down with isopropyl alcohol just to make sure there's no resin on the bottles, just because I don't want to have any accidents with it. So those are my recommendations. There's some other things that, again, will be listed on the site. I hope you like this video. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it on social media, because all the sharing helps my channel grow. Thanks, guys. Take care.